All right, so we're back here on another Couch Coach Live. We are back again. Once again, Couch Coaches, we're here on a Wednesday. We got a special guest in the building. First, we introduce him momentarily. What's going on, Maui?
Chilling, man. Another week, another week. Man, what we gonna do? It's over.
Yeah, man. Yeah, NBA season is over,
Wow.
and of course, I had to, so our special guest today, shout out to our guy Cool McCain.
Mm.
So he's of the Play Caller Sports Talk show, and then also of my NBA Carousel brethren representing the
Yeah.
NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks. What's
Let's
going on,
go.
Cool?
Not much, man. Feeling good, man. Feeling good. Didn't want to see the Suns win, so
Yeah, man. Yeah,
very happy.
So can I say
yeah.
something? Can I say something real quick? My G, I couldn't make the show, I think 2 weeks ago, and I said that they was going, it was going to be Bucks in 6. And I said, no offense, it was going to be Chris Paul fault. And once we get to going, I'm going to show you that it really was somewhat his fault.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Word.
Yeah, so before we get, so what we do, we'll talk about Milwaukee obviously winning the championship. What's next for the Phoenix Suns? Also, we'll talk a little Bryce Young get ready to enter the 7-figure club potentially, and then we'll give out our top 5 quarterbacks heading into the 2021 NFL season. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna do that intro, and we'll be right back. All right, and we're back here on Couch Coach Live. Before we get started, definitely huge shout out to my bookie. We're brought to you this week by my bookie. So head on to mybookie.com where they match up to 50% of your first deposit up to $1,000. Also, they're the largest bonus in the industry. Also, the highest credit card accepted rates, fast 48-hour payout processing, and use our promo code off the ball. And let's win big. Use our promo code off the ball. Shout out to mybookie.com. So cool. The Milwaukee Bucks are the NBA champions. First time in 50 years. Game 6 victory over the Phoenix Suns. Your boy Giannis, 50 burger. He's doing his thing. So your thoughts on game 6 and just this season?
I gotta tell you, man. I've been covering them all year, and one of the reasons that I did cover them was I felt like they had a really strong chance because, when you make it to a certain point and then you just can't get over the hump, sometimes you either falter and you kind of give up or fall back. And sometimes you just kind of get like a little pissed off, right? You're like, you know what, man? People talking about us, people saying we can't get the job done. And then you just kind of be like, you know what, man? We got to do it this year. This is the time we got to do it. So I feel like this was a good, solid opportunity for them. They took advantage of it. And one thing, a lot of people won't acknowledge this, but the biggest pickup that they had this year was when they brought in PJ Tucker. You know what I'm saying? And that's because he doesn't score a lot of points, but the defense, the nastiness, you know what I'm saying? The ability to kind of set that tone for that team, that was very important. And when they brought that in, that kind of filled in with bringing Drew Holiday in the offseason, giving him a new contract, and then you still had Giannis there, you still had Middleton. You just had a good mixture, right? Everybody kind of fit a role. And then a big thing about their run, man, everybody talks about all the teams that have injuries. Dante DiVincenzo, he was a starter for this team, but he went out with injury, and he was replaced by PJ Tucker in the starting lineup. So they were missing an important guy, a guy that can hustle, play defense, young, another ball handler, and a scorer. So they were without that the entire playoffs after the Atlanta series. Not the Atlanta series, after the Miami series. So you think about, they went through most of the playoffs without one of their important pieces as well. So it's not to knock anyone else, or it's not to say like, the Nets missing one of their guys and the other one being hobbled didn't help, but you still got to go out there and beat them. You still got to go out there and beat KD. And anytime you can beat KD, that's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, big time. Malvin, your thoughts on the champion Milwaukee Bucks?
When we put our predictions on it, everybody said, Suns, and then they said, but definitely if Giannis is healthy, they have a chance to win. I felt like this year, because the last few years they had a lot of expectations on them, and this year they was kind of like the expectation wasn't on them as much. It was like if they win, okay, they should have, because they've been there plenty of times where the expectation was on there. Then you got the distraction of Philly and the distraction of the Nets. So they always was right there. All they had to do with these new teammates is put something together. Their coach been getting trashed all year. Now gameplay.
He froze. But
why you getting?
Yeah.
Well, why you get that straight, man? I'll hop back on, and I got a couple more Bucks related.
Actually, I'll let you rock. Cool. Yeah, you want to take? Yeah.
Yeah. Why?
My bad.
Yeah.
So essentially, man. Oh, can we hear him? Well, essentially, man, it was an exciting season because all the injuries.
All right. Yeah, you still frozen. We're gonna I'm gonna get you out the frame. I'm gonna put you and come back in. And I'm gonna get Cool take on it real quick.
But yeah, it was really exciting for me because like he was saying, this is a team that they didn't have the same expectations this year, but you're starting to question Giannis, you're starting to question Budenholzer, you're starting to question Middleton, the people that's been on the team, like, oh, they still haven't won, they haven't done it. These guys are together for 8 years. So it was good to see them finally get it together. And it was great to see that Giannis at the times that it was needed was really able to step up. But you got to really give to a lot of Bucks. You got to give some props to a lot of Bucks. PJ Tucker with the defense on some really elite players. Brook Lopez had some big games. He was able to turn the clock back for some games. Chris Middleton had some big games. Drew Holiday had some big games. Connaughton hit a lot of very important shots. Brian Forbes early in the playoffs, he was hitting a lot of big threes for him. So you got a lot of people that did what they needed to do. And I know Giannis is going to get most of the praise, as he should, because he is the man. But there were a lot of other guys that, played their part, at least for certain games, that, kind of helped them get where they were at. And that's, really big. And then you go into Phoenix, you lose the first 2 games, right? The first game, Giannis does not look like himself. And I mean, honestly, I noticed a lot of time throughout watching the series, he was limping, right? After some of those big plays, big blocks, some of those super Euro steps that he was doing and spin moves, you saw him kind of limping a little bit, his back, his leg. So I don't think he was 100%. And people like to talk about that, Chris Paul was injured, his hand and different things. Okay. I mean, by this point in the season, a lot of guys are probably injured, not hurt, but injured. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of got to play through it. You got a chance to win a championship. And I mean, if you're looking at it, should have been no reason that Chris Paul did not have the motivation to go out there and put together 6 really good games, but he wasn't able to do that. Giannis was able to go out there and put together 5 really good games, 4 great games, and then game 5, of course, was more of a team effort. But man, it was just great to see some new blood in the playoffs. It was great to see some new blood in the finals. No LeBron storylines, no KD storylines, no Steph storylines, all the people we're always seeing. So it was great to just have, different teams there and really be able to find a champion, man. So really excited. I'm glad that, the team that I, cover was able to win. But even if not so, man, it was great just to see, that new blood and just to be able to feel it, man. You could kind of feel it through the TV. You could feel Giannis's passion. It was great.
Yeah, and like that crowd, like the Deer District, that was definitely electric. And even from the jump, that's like you knew, like it's funny. It kind of reminded me of Game 6 of the 2008 NBA Finals with Boston and LA. Like that crowd was just so, like in the beginning, I kept on saying that Phoenix was to do something in this game, they need to silence the crowd, and they sounded for a tad bit. They had a little, going into that, second quarter, but then after they just went downhill from them. But like you said, it's a great thing, like for the league, because we used to always think, well, the big market team is going to win, especially when we look at how like the Lakers won last year. People was like, oh, are we going to go back to kind of having those monster teams? But this is good, like you said. We've had small market teams like Toronto won in 2019. Yep. And then this one here, in essence, it kind of really saved the NBA as far as from a small media standpoint, small market standpoint, because you look at it, and you even look at on Phoenix end where they like everybody was like, oh, Devin Booker, he's wasting his best years in Phoenix. They need to just let him go. He need to go to New York. He needs to go to a big market. They get there. Then Milwaukee, people were criticizing him getting that Supermax, and I'm like, no, this is why the Supermax is kind of was implemented for guys like him to stay and to get the max amount of money. This is kind of everybody else kind of haven't done that. That's what kind of essentially where this is the kind of the implementation of why they put this in place because of this, because they want these type of situations to happen. And it's just like really just helps the league to say themselves, like you look at now, other teams are becoming New Orleans. You're looking at even Detroit. I think, with K Cunningham potentially coming to the fold with Keelan Hayes and Sadiq Bey, like that's a nice trio going forward that they can build with. And Jeremy Grant, Grant with a veteran leadership like that. So you look at those type of small markets, and then like what New Orleans is doing now, of course, with Willie Green as new head coach, and with Zion and what they're gonna do. So now you look at those small market teams as, hey, Milwaukee can do it, we can do it as well. And I think and it's definitely it's definitely a good thing for the league to have him. And then what Giannis did. And the main reason why I picked Phoenix was because of the fact of the health of Giannis. Because at the the Atlanta series when he got hurt, we were like everybody, we were all like having prayer emojis. We was thinking the worst. I mean, it was to a point where like Twitter was like it felt like it was a dark place where he essentially was like, well, like prayers up for Giannis, and oh gosh, it's just gonna look bad. And that's where you looked at it. I didn't think he was gonna have 340 plus games in this series. Crazy, yeah. And like you said, to the point, and even to get to 50 in a closeout game. And it's just like you said, it's amazing.
He got the confidence to realize they couldn't stop him. You know what I mean? And right. And I mean, that's the beauty of watching the playoffs, is seeing these guys grow. You know what I mean? Sure. And everybody's been telling him that. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, just you being you. Yeah. Can't nobody stop you. And once he realized that, and then Ayton getting in foul trouble, which I've been saying all playoffs, get that boy in foul trouble. That means somebody else got to come in, and they're not going to be able to do what they got to do. You know what I mean? The team changes without Ayton. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. I'm sorry, Chris.
And then the acquisitions, Drew Holiday, you look at, he was picture perfect. He was the best acquisition to handle Chris Paul. And that's one thing too, when you look at those type of factors where that was key, because pretty much it was like up until like game 3, that's when primarily part of game 2, but majority from game 2 on down, he was pretty much defending Chris Paul. And then like even when you were saying Cool earlier about about PJ Tucker, where he was guarding, and we kind of even threw in the notion in the preview, well, maybe Booker PJ can get on Book. And that was effective for generally the most part. That's one thing, like him, that versatility where you can put him in anywhere. That's the thing. That's the beauty about PJ Tucker. And even he got a ring. Bobby Porter's got a ring.
And they switch. Yep. So what I saw was, PJ Tucker was on Book, but then all of a sudden he started being on Chris Paul. So then I was like, okay, so when they switch, you know what I'm saying? And then you could tell you're taking an isolation player and trying to get him to hand the ball off, because they start ripping them every time they had a high post. You know what I mean? I was like, it's just ingenious, man. Then they had Bridges. I heard some dudes say today with Bridges, he had all these monster games, but you don't even know he's there. That is his game. You forget where he's at, and then he's knocking down threes. Well, they were running him off the 3-point line. So now he has to shoot it. You know what I'm saying? He got to lay it up. You see him miss that dunk?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You see him saying, trying to be something that he really is not. You know what I mean? And I think that's part of it. Great defense also. But me personally, man, they just got out rebound. Chris Paul had 26 points, but he had 5 assists. And I just feel like me personally, he's the point guard. I feel like he should have more assists. But I think with the Bucks did was when they do the pick and roll, they didn't bite to him. They stayed with Aiden or whatever big man, whoever was sliding to the side or running to the basket. They stayed with him, so they let him get his little 2-pointer, and then I feel like the Suns need to be faster. I think that's what makes them dangerous is when they running and gunning. You know what I mean? And I think with Chris Paul on the court, I think he slows them up. I'm not saying he ain't a great acquisition to them, but I just felt like he dribbled like Chris, like you said, what your boy say? He dribble.
Big Baby Davis said it best.
He dribble, and that's just the truth.
Yeah, you're right.
And if you're not biting on that shot or what he do, then he can make the shot, but that messes up the whole offense. Phoenix, the Suns was dangerous. Some of them games, like I saw that. Payne only had played for 10 minutes or 12 minutes and got 10 points, and I think he was way more important to that team than just getting them little bit of minutes. You know what I mean? He should have got more minutes, and they needed to move faster, man. You know what I'm saying? They were slowing up, and I just think looking at the Bucks last night, how tired they were, because if you look at the stats of how like Giannis did, I'm sorry, I wrote it down. Giannis 42 minutes, Lopez 27, Holiday 46, Middleton 41, Porter's 23. Greek got 50 points. Lopez got 10. Holiday got 12, 9, 11 assists, 9 rebounds. Middleton got 17 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. Like Portis got 16 points, 3 rebounds in 23 minutes. So if they was running them and was happening to win this game, they'd have been dead tired. You know what I mean? But they just played their game.
Yep. And the other thing too, man, I will say one thing for Phoenix though. They did lose Dario Saric. Yep. He got hurt in I think at the beginning of the second game.
Game 2. Game 2, yeah, I think.
So when they lost him, they had to resort to Frank Kaminsky as the backup center. And I can't speak for y'all, but I live in Charlotte, so
Frank the Tank.
Yeah, and that's when you were talking about speeding up, man. That is not the guy that you want to put in to speed the game up.
right. I got you.
But they had to have Frank Kaminsky and Chris Paul on the floor. You know,
right.
Yeah, and it slows him down. Yeah, that's Jordan boy.
But once they did that, though, man, I think that they that's true Western Conference basketball is the run and gun. You know what I mean? And I just felt like when you look at the paint, like you look at the team stats, it's almost identical. Like the free throws was close, even though the Bucks got a little bit more. Turnovers was crazy, but they got out rebound. You know, and then in the paint, like the 3-pointer was horrible for both teams, but in the paint, like you think the Bucks dominated, but they got about the same as what's the name is. It's just that they had a better all around game, man. Everybody just contributed.
I actually pulled up some of the stats earlier, and I took a screenshot so we could talk about them. Points, it was 117 Milwaukee, 109 Phoenix. Rebounds, it was 46.3. This is per game. 39 for Phoenix. So like you said, it's not a huge discrepancy.
Yeah.
About 7.3 more rebounds a game. Steals, it was 8-7 Milwaukee. Blocks, Phoenix actually had 4 blocks a game. Milwaukee only had 3.5. But it felt like every one of Milwaukee blocks was like a major play. Turnovers, Phoenix had 13 a game. Milwaukee had 11.3. Field goal percentage, Phoenix shot 49%. Milwaukee shot 46.7. 3 points, of course, Phoenix outshot them, but actually not by that much. It was 38.4 for Phoenix. 35.3 for Milwaukee. And then free throws, of course, Phoenix was better than that, 85, but they were only 85.7%. And Milwaukee ended up 72.9 because, of course, Giannis had a really good free throw game last night. So, I mean, you were saying it was pretty tight, man, but I have to shout out Bobby Portis, bro. I heard a story about him today. So he was out of the league, last year. Like, he didn't have a team. So he got in contact with Giannis and said, yo, Giannis, I really want to come and play with you in Milwaukee. So Giannis went to ownership and got them to give him a tryout, and they actually liked him and ended up bringing him in. So, Portis, he was saying, so a lot of people saw what he was saying when they were talking to him after the game. He was saying, like, I was depressed. I was just at home working out. you know, my mom was trying to get me out of depression. This man really went through it because he didn't have like a team. You know what I'm saying? So to have Giannis come in and, you know, be that bridge and help him just at least get the workout and get them to see him and then bring him in and then for him to be able to perform the way he did. And you think about he had DMPs all in the net series. He wasn't even playing that much in the net series, but when he called upon him, he performed, man. So I got to give him a big shout out for that, man. That's big, man. When you got guys that can come in like that, first year in the system and play a big role like that, and it can do it when you call upon, bro. That's amazing.
Yeah, because essentially he was like almost even in the Atlanta series. After the Giannis injury, that's when he really kind of came in and start playing. Like you said, former Bull. Shout out to Bobby Portis, man.
There he goes. There he goes. No, but yeah, man, like that's the beauty of watching it too. Like I look for like different variables and I was like, okay, who's gonna be that player that nobody's really talking about that's just gonna step up? You know what I'm saying? That nobody's really talking about that's just gonna say, hey man, I'm in the championship. This is the finals. I gotta step out of my character just a little bit. And you looking at Giannis, because Giannis is looking like, please, somebody, please do it, you know, make a shot. You know what I mean? Please, I'm tired. You know what I mean? And that was shot. Just, yeah, it is some shots. You know, please, I throw you the ball. I promise. You know, but but you know, they deserve it, man. It was great. You know what I'm saying? I know they coach. You know, at least he got this, but I know they coach been getting ripped all year. But you know, the whole team has, and you know, it's just great. He deserved it, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now he can take this and all them old NBA players that we love, and now they're not playing. They always got something smart to say. Now he can put that right in their face. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. You know.
And man, also, bro, Monty Williams is a really classy dude. You know, I've never seen anybody else do this before, but to go to the other team's locker room and congratulate them, like, you know, like that, and then you'll give Giannis a hug like that, bro. That's real classy. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, it's gonna sound a little tacky when I say this, but I still gotta say it. It doesn't reflect on his team because them boys, they are not classy. You know what I'm saying? Phoenix is
Thank you. Because I've been saying it. I don't mean to be rude. I wanted Trae Young and Devin Booker to do well, but Devin Booker look little. I'm just saying.
Nah, it's a point guard.
It's definitely the point guard, but
it's his influence on the team. Yes,
I tell you, we know about him. Tobacco Road, we know about him.
I was paying attention to Devin Booker, but I was like, yo, he looked like he really like. I ain't gonna tell you what I told somebody today. That ain't even cool. We on the air. I can't do that. I do it after the show. But you know, he's one of the leading guys of technical fouls. You know what I'm saying? Like he a trip, B. He a trip, bro. Like, you know.
Right, because they was like, because I remember we was in the group chat there about, and one of the guys was like, I'm shocked that Chris Paul didn't hug them about it, whatever, and you know, on their way out. I'm like, Chris Paul, like y'all. I'm like, I tell you, if I had to put money on that, I knew he wasn't gonna do it. Cause like we said, Tobacco Road, we know about Chris Paul. 20 years in, we know about Chris Paul. Chris Paul he's not what everybody is. I mean, like everybody was, I'm rooting for him. No, like Monty, Cam Johnson, I mean my Carolina guys, but other than that, no, Chris Paul, no. Okay. Like, no.
I got a question.
Yeah,
couple years back, did something happen to him? Do you think Rondo really spit on him on purpose? Let's go.
I mean, but that's the thing. What Chris Paul, I'm telling you, like the thing that I'm not surprised because people cast him as like kind of like, and half these battles that he in, they look at him as like he's the innocent victim. Like to me, the whole thing, and it goes back to the NBA carousel kind of thing. I kind of wanted to kind of really lash out, but like the whole Pat Bev situation, like I'm telling you, I guarantee you, Chris Paul said something to him.
He did. I know he did.
But I'm talking about to a point where it's like you look at the punt, like the push was kind of like was not saying it was justified, but there's a reason behind that.
He walked past him and said something. He walked past him and said something.
Right. And then the thing that got me with Chris Paul from the jump, because of course with Wake Forest, he was dirty at Wake Forest. But the thing that got me was when he punched Julius Hodge and the Family Jewels. And I like, you know what? On senior night all night.
He talking about this all the time.
Yo, that's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. And I mean, I guarantee that might have been like 17 years ago or whatever. It might have been 18. Yeah. Who knows? Who's counting?
But he talking about it all the time. He was like, man, he dirty. He ain't even his Family Jewels, me. I was like, for real?
Yes.
He be getting up under people when they trying to come down. You know what I'm saying? He be leaning into people, flopping around, acting. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And to answer your question, I do believe that Rajon Rondo spit on him on purpose because I believe he said and did something to Rajon Rondo.
Right.
And I believe he did too.
And like even the whole thing with Austin Rivers, the Austin Rivers situation where Chris Paul went to a back channel. I like Chris Paul probably started that. Like, and right. And then even you look at I forgot it was like in the third quarter. Remember him and Bobby Portis about to get into it. He know he can't mess with Bobby Portis because he know.
Yeah. You remember in the Clipper series when he get that fake foul on DeMarcus Cousins and you saw the camera with DeMarcus Cousins like that's why nobody don't with you right now.
Yeah, right.
Yep. Right. Because you know they hate each other. Like they do not like each other. Chris Paul and DeMarcus Cousins
for real?
Giving each other fruit baskets at Christmas. Not at all.
Why they hate each other? Why they hate each other?
I don't know. I know they got an altercation years ago, and I think it just never. It just never. It was never squashed. The beef was never quarreled. Okay. So, speaking of Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns, so fellas, let me make sure this is working. There we go. All right. So, what's next for the Suns? I'm gonna go with you first. Cool. What's your thoughts on the Suns and what's next for them?
Honestly, if I'm the Suns, I would say rather than pay Chris Paul $44 million a year, I hope he opts out.
Yeah,
because you can take that money, you can entice some free agents to build that roster. Because, like you said, they have a lot of young guys that can fly, but you need a couple of seasoned guys that you can sprinkle in there. You need somebody center. Sarge is not going to do it. Kaminsky's not going to do it. You need someone else that can really help Ayton, develop. So you need to get another big and another center that can help Ayton develop. Maybe an Asian guy that's got a couple of years left that can be a backup, but still help Ayton work on his game. Push him in practice. Maybe somebody that can mentor him. Show him how to get in the weight room, what to work on, how to improve himself. Post moves because he really doesn't have a lot of those. So that's one thing they definitely need. I think they need more consistent shooting. They need a big that can shoot. They need like a guy like Torrey Craig, but like on steroids. Yeah. By the way, shout out to Torrey Craig because even though he lost, he still got a ring.
Right.
Yeah. They also need. A lot of people say they have a lot of good. They have a good defense. I think they have a good defensive unit. They have about 5 or 6 good guys that play defense real well. But I think they need to sprinkle in more guys that play defense. They get after the ball, kind of like some of the guys in Milwaukee has, those type of players. Guys that, hey, I may not score points. I may only score 5 or 6 points a game, but I don't care about that. I'm out here to dog you. I'm out here to take you out of the game. I'm out here to push you. I'm out here to try to get you out of your game. So I think if they get some of those things and, maybe Monty Williams makes a tweak or two with the rotation as well as maybe adds a fresh voice to the coaching staff, they have Devin Booker, and you can feel how you want to about his personality and the way that he plays sometimes, but he is definitely a star in this league, and he's going to be a superstar real soon. So when you have that, if you can get Ayton up to par, you can add, a little bit more aggressiveness, a little bit more size, a little bit more shooting. Just guys that'll be more consistent, especially post players because they really had a lack of post presence. That would help them to, possibly get back to where they were next year.
Yeah. Mal, your thoughts on the Suns? What's next?
Definitely. I think they should get rid of Chris Paul. Chris Paul needs to go. Do not come to the Lakers though. Take your ass to New York. You know what I'm saying? Go east. You know, don't even, please. But and I was thinking about who could replace him. I think that if they had like a Michael Connolly from Utah, I think they would have done a lot better. You know, he's a free agent, and I think that would be. He has that scoring point guard that I really think they needed. That they thought they was getting with Chris Paul a little bit. You know what I mean? I thought that would be pretty good. They definitely need like a power forward, so like a small forward, power forward combo type of guy. Like you said, agent that can shoot a little bit. You know, even if he's not a consistent 3-point shooter, he still can score and be able to, play a little defense. Little agent guy. I don't know. I really didn't think about who. It's a lot of those guys out there, though. You know what I mean? But they don't need much. Just build on I think they just build on their bench just a little bit, and then I do think that it's a reason. When now sitting back, I guess is a reason why Chris Paul really been on all these teams the last 5 years. You know what I mean? It wasn't just his contract. You know what I mean?
Ain't about trying to put that $40-something million.
Yeah, that's all. You know what I mean. And he really, no offense to him too. Like he choked up, and you know what I'm saying. And I do think they should keep Crowder. I think Crowder did pretty good to me. I felt like he got a lot of experience, and I felt like me personally. He's one of the guys that kept him in the game too. You know what I mean? But I do think they should keep him. I think that was one of their best pickups to me anyway. I don't think he should go anywhere. That's about it. I really, like I said, I think, they got to get some new leadership. I think I think they still good. I think they're a dangerous team. I just think that they kind of lost, which is a good team. When you play against a good team, I think they lost their identity. Like I said, I love boxing. And you can have a guy that fight one way, but if you a good, a guy, you know how to adjust, and he don't know how to adjust, then you could dominate. It'd be a complete different fight. And I felt like that's really what the Bucks did to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The Chris Paul situation, that's gonna be interesting. Either he can opt out, but they're saying if he opts out, then maybe he get a reduced deal. But I'm like, he's not gonna do that. He's I mean, you're going to get $45 million and you about to be 37 years old. You going to get as much money as you can. He's not going to, I don't think in my personal opinion, he's going to do that. Of course, you give Aiden his money. I say even, he's up to Mikal Bridges. I think he's up too. So I think he's in for a payday. But yeah, like you said, you say that money, that Chris Paul money, because that's what that puts you $45 million or whatever it is. Yeah, I think it's like $45 million. And like you said, get you a 4, and pretty much get a get one of those situations. And like you said, you definitely got to get better. Like definitely upgraded the point guard position, like you said, like a Mike Conley actually do good. Somebody who is kind of as far as somebody who can run that offense and kind of have that speed that they need and acts like a scoring guard. Because like you said, a lot of times when Chris Paul was on the floor in that Milwaukee series, scored almost tremendously outscored in the times that he was there. I think if you get, like you said, get a point guard and then get you like a stretch 4, somebody like like a situation almost like a PJ Tucker kind of situation where you kind of him and Mikal Bridges kind of switch off like defensively on somebody, and then like you said, you can still get that scoring punch. And Bridges, they say also your bench. I think Cam Johnson's going to definitely gonna be a lot better this coming up this year. And I think I was kind of shocked that he kind of shied away. Monty Wood kind of shied away from him in this series. I guess and that's the thing with the youth and all that. But still, I was kind of befuddled by that in a sense. And this is like, but it is what it is. But I definitely think those are the things, because they definitely the Western Conference is no joke. Especially everybody's coming back. Who knows who's going to be on the banana boat in LA? Maybe Chris Paul, maybe Russell Westbrook. So
maybe Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo Anthony. Yep.
Hey, I heard something about that. Chris Paul might be going to the Bulls. Ain't that his old coach that he did really well with?
He ain't going there. He ain't got no money. We can't afford
Man.
Chris Paul. We bellied up on what's the face on what per call him Vukovic. all our chips in Nikola and then Vukovic. But I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Paul go to the Clippers potentially. But I don't know how that's going to shake financially.
If I were them, I'd rather have Reggie Jackson than him.
That's what I
seriously.
I mean,
Kawhi out. Y'all tripping if you don't think Kawhi out. He gone.
I would say out. See, you take that money again. The same situation. You take the Kawhi money.
Right.
Chris Paul. Paul George already got paid. So you take the Kawhi money and you go fill in some pieces. You get a couple more scorers in there. You know what I'm saying? Some guys that can come off the bench, microwave scorers, rebounders.
Mm-hmm.
You add the team they got in LA might be better.
Yeah,
I think the team.
Yeah,
I think that team that we saw in the finals, that's their future team. For real. Absolutely. Yeah. What about Ibaka? He signed a 1-year deal, or was it a couple of years?
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure he would come back because the thing is, if they even had him in the playoffs, even without Kawhi, they probably would have been in better shape.
Yeah, because that was our biggest issue was Aiden. That pick and roll destroyed us. Well, us, but I mean the Clippers.
Us. Oh yeah, us.
But yeah, you kind of like. I know it's just like It's about every week, just about at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like you said, that was the biggest issue. If Serge would have played, I mean, and it's funny because we kept on talking about him every week. That we would, when Serge coming back, I'm like, I don't know. Like a part of me, I'm reading the LA Times. They said he might come back. He might come back this week. He may not. He never came back. So, like, it was just, it was just a crazy kind of getting that all concerned. But so did some NBA. Let's focus on some college football. And so Bryce Young, the Alabama quarterback, hasn't played hasn't started for Alabama quite yet at this point. So Nick Saban, he spoke at a Texas High School Coaches Association convention yesterday, and he was telling I guess you call them the camp goers or what have you, that his potential starting quarterback is nearly ranking in nearly a 7-figure income in the new name, image, and likeness policy. All right, so Mal, your thoughts on Bryce Young on the verge of making $1 million off his name, image, and likeness?
Congratulations. And then, it's been a lot of fallen players, you know what I mean? And a lot of players, lost their career because they was hurting and people looked out for them and they took stuff and they messed their career up. So congratulations. The opportunity is there. You take it. You know what I mean? I'm so interested to see how this rolls in like 3-4 years, man, and how these players, when they go into the league, how they're going to carry everything. Because I'm hoping by this that they get a really good, genuine business sense. You know what I mean? It might even help the league where a lot of guys might not take the biggest deal. They may leave some money on the table so they could be on a better team. You know that? Because they already got money. You know that? So, man, I mean, congratulations. I think Nick Saban, I think he, sometimes when I hear him talk and then I hear the dude from Clemson, I think Nick Saban said, you know what, I'm going to take this and I'm going to show these dudes how to use this. So Bryce Young, yeah, he might ain't even be my starting quarterback, but hey, by him coming to Alabama and who he is, he already going to have 7 figures. You know what I'm saying? So, people probably like, man, shoot, I go play for Alabama, man. I can go ahead and get, you know what I'm saying, just by being with Alabama, you know what I'm saying? I think that's smart where you got to do the coach from Clemson basically kind of being negative about a lot of little stuff, a lot of little changes going on. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out, man. You know what I'm saying? I think he took it from a positive, say, man, you know what? You know what I mean? Like he upset, but he like, I'm gonna take this and use this for some positive, some marketing. Say, hey man, some of you best players, y'all still come on to Alabama. You know what I'm saying? This dude might not be my starter, but he close to 7 figures to get paid. So shout out to him. Congratulations, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Salute, bro. I'm jealous.
Cool. Your thoughts?
Well, man, I definitely have to agree in that. Congratulations to him. I mean, this is obviously something that for the most part is going to help the bigger schools, right? Like you look at, I'm a Miami Hurricanes fan. Look at the fact that the whole team is going to get paid. You know what I'm saying? The whole team endorsement deal. And then our quarterback has a few deals as well. So this is something that's really going to, in my opinion, hurt some of the smaller schools in a way. But if you can get one of those marquee names to come to your school, you're going to be able to have ways to get them some money, which may make some of these guys say, you know what, instead of going to college 3 years and then going straight to the NFL as soon as I can, I'm already getting paid. I can stay here another year.
Right.
So that may help that as well. To be a backup, not even a starter yet, and still already have, this kind of money coming in, it's crazy. But I want to one up that real quick. I don't know if y'all have heard about it or not, but Master P's son, Hersey Miller.
Yep.
$2 million from the web app tech company. $2 million deal. So double what this guy is allegedly getting. And he's going to Tennessee State. He's going to HBCU, and he's able to get that kind of cash. So I think that that's great too. If this is something like, for instance, what I was saying earlier, where you can get some of these guys to go to some of these smaller schools because not necessarily the school itself is going to get it for you, but because you're going to be the guy there. If you can go somewhere where you can be the star, your name, your image, and your likeness is going to be more valuable in some cases than being the third or fourth best guy on one of these powerhouses. So it can kind of help both ways. But I am glad that these kids are getting paid. I hope that they come up with some guidelines down the road, not punish them if they haven't followed them yet, but just say, hey, moving forward, this is what you can and can't do. Because I think you don't want to get out of control and almost be like semi-pro. But at the same time, these kids should be able to get paid off their likenesses, because some of them, they may not make it to the NFL. They may make it, or the NBA in case of basketball, and they may not have the same opportunities, and they missed the opportunity to, hop in when they really could have got cash. You think about like the O'Bannon boys, right? Those guys were beasts at UCLA. They never really panned out in the NBA. If they had an opportunity to make cash back then, it would be great. A lot of former players, some in the NFL, some not, talked about several times how they would walk around. They would go to the student union or go to stores, and there's the jersey selling for $100, and they got $5 in their pocket.
Right.
So them being able to, just get a little piece of that pie, man, it's good. It's big for college. I wasn't necessarily with it at first, but once I thought about it more and put myself in their position, man, it is actually a really good thing.
Yeah, man. O'Bannon brothers, the reason why we got NCAA football.
Can I rebuttal real quick?
Yeah.
2 things I like you said allegedly. You know that? I like that you said allegedly, because we haven't heard from that young man. This could be just some smoke and mirrors that he's throwing out there. You know what I mean? And I do, it's weird because you're a Miami Hurricane fan, right? I wonder how many dudes, if they do get endorsement money, how many of them are going to go to states that don't have property taxes and things of that nature. You know that? That's going to be crazy. Anyway, that's it.
But it's interesting. Like, and I think, like you said, to your point, Mal, where Nick Saban did that as a recruiting tool to say, hey, like, look, come to Alabama. He don't even have to step. Well, he's stepped foot on the field. He's a sophomore, but you ain't gotta. You can pretty much go on this campus and have and almost command a 7-figure salary. So I look at it, for example, he did that because of the brand is strong. But I think this is going to help just in its whole entirety, because I don't think you're going to be limited to Alabama, Clemson, and what have you. Because, like you said, Master P's son, he's at Tennessee State University. You can get that money anywhere. You can go to Jacksonville State and be with Coach Dion. Oh, don't call him Dion. Call him Coach Prime.
Sanders or
Coach Sanders.
Well, he got mad, right? You know, he
Oh
said
yes,
that
he got pissed.
because you know they said when they talk to Nick Saban, they don't say Nick. So why are you saying Dion?
Yeah, right. And then he said, "Okay, Dion, that was disrespectful." But
Yeah.
I go back onto the topic. But but like to me, it's like you said, it's really the draw of who you are. Where you don't necessarily have to go to Alabama or Clemson. You can go to any of these schools. Like I guarantee you, Bryce Young, because Bryce Young is pretty much one of the most decorated high school quarterbacks in his graduating class. So he could have went anywhere and got that kind of money, I think, in my personal opinion. So I think this is definitely going to help disperse the talent amongst the college football scene. And like you said, it's just a great opportunity for these guys to get this kind of money, and you know, and it's fair. I think this is the part that, because I looked at the other models of how you can compensate athletes. Like I at one time I wanted to have a model of them being paid like a state employee, but it's almost like it's kind of hard for a guy to, you know, if you say Bryce Young, who could be the starter, could be a potential Heisman Trophy winner, get paid the same as a roommate that's his second string backup quarterback. So this is a perfect example where you using off your name, image, and likeness. So it's gonna, you know, so it's like everything where just like most of their peers that's not non-athletic, if they had a product or something and they can go out to the market and the market decides that their product is worth the money, and the same thing goes for them in this predicament. But yeah, I think like you said, Nick Saban just knows he's going to cash in on that. It's like, hey, so you're going to, like I said, the smoking mirror to say, hey, come to Alabama, you're going to get this kind of money, blase, you know, you will get that, you know, you get all the eyeballs and you'll get the money.
Yeah.
You'll be the king down here in Tuscaloosa. If you're the quarterback, it's almost like you kind of sell it like how people used to sell like the Dallas Cowboys quarterback is always like the face of America. That type of situation where he's like the most famous person in America besides certain people, like, you know, so he kind of had that image. But like you say, it's really whoever comes your way. I mean, like you said, he could have, you know, Bryce Young could have went anywhere in this country and probably commanded this kind of money. So I mean, I like this. And I think this is the best way because at least you can say this model is fair. I still think that they should still get paid from the colleges, but that's here nor there. But I think this is the right step to get it right, where these guys have an opportunity to make that kind of money. And you know, and I know people say that it's, you know, that it might hurt teams, but I don't think it's going to hurt any team when you sit down and you think about it, because it's off your image, name, and likeness. Like, it's not like, you know, these opportunities are going to come to you. So this that situation, but I know I'm saying that there's a track to say that, but I'm like, these companies are coming to you, so it's not like a situation where it's like you can't be mad at me because, you know, Kellogg's came to me, they want to give me $1 million. They came to me. Like, they didn't come to you. They came to say third. So they, you know, so yeah, I definitely like it. And I mean, I feel bad for you, Cool. You have a rough fall. You got the Hurricanes and the Eagles. Like,
oh, I'm gonna have a great fall, bro.
I mean,
great fall.
You think about it though, man. If you're on social media and you one of those guys that, you know, got a lot of followers, of course they're gonna come at you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even before you go to they're not here. I mean, don't get me wrong, because I play for you guys or I did this, I have these followers. But before I even decided to get here, I still had a certain amount of followers. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? And that's a lot of it why they're doing that too. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the sponsorship was like, hey, man, you know, you may not like the team. You know what I'm saying? They might not even like the team, but they like this specific person. Like, you know, this specific player or something like that. And then he got all these followers. Like, I always told you, like, that's one of the reasons why the Ball brothers had got in there. They already had a movement before they even got in the league. You know what I mean? They did. They was YouTube sensations. You know what I mean?
And they dad in his mouth. That's a valid point.
Yeah. And that was, you know what I mean? And that was number two. The dad caught my eye, but then when I started looking, they had been on YouTube and had a YouTube sensation for like 3-4 years before they even, you know what I mean?
And it's funny now. My mind is really like thinking about some different type of possibilities. Like to your point, Cool, where there's gonna have to be some type of regulations going forward because a part of you now is like because you now the thing I really thought about because I think I talked about this before, not on this show, but just in general. Then what other levels are going to require the NIL? Think about high school. And the first thing I thought about was QB1. You think about that series that's on Amazon. Think about this. Just imagine like those guys who on that QB1 show are going to command seven-figure incomes. But can they capitalize on the series as high school, sophomore, junior, senior? So part of, like you said, when do we draw that line? Even though I'm excited for it, but like you said, it could become the wild, wild west. It could really become where we don't really have at this point, even though it's fresh, but there's no definitive gray line. There's no one way or the other. It's like a free for all. And, some people are going to be like, and then even to basketball standpoint, like you look at, and that's, I hate to make this example, but like Bronny's team, Sierra Canyon, they're on ESPN. They're on when you think about these nationally, ranked teams that play on ESPN, sell out, major arenas. Like, do they get a piece of this pie as well? Like, so that's why, like, I know that's I'm thinking next level, but I mean, this is gonna come across where especially when these high school athletes look at it, be like, look, what's the difference between me making money next year as a freshman in college to a senior in high school, and I'm probably gonna make just as much money as I could potentially my senior year in high school to my freshman year in college.
And then too, like for me, the part where I say that I feel like some of the larger schools are going to have an advantage is you think about the alumni, you think about the trustees, right?
Yeah.
They all work for companies. If I want a certain player to come to this school, I work for IBM. Hey, look, man, I got this guy that I think would be really good to be an NIL face for IBM. Then I go to the guy's family, and the guy say, look, man, I can get you this, 6-figure deal with IBM, come on over here and play for Miami, or come on over here and play for Florida State, or, come over here and play for Alabama, come over and play for Clemson or whoever, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's where you can get a little bit into some of the advantages. But then that's why I said on the flip side of it, I also think that some people will go to the place where they can be the man or the woman and get some of that money that way as well.
Right.
Yeah, just like the girls basketball ones who got the Boost Mobile sponsorship. Yep. The Twins.
Do the professional players, do they get any take in their jersey being sold on the team? They get a percentage or something?
I believe they do get a take on their jerseys when they're sold.
I think so. I think it's in their in their contract. Yeah.
It's either the contract or it may be collective bargained. It's one of the two.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. But man, definitely huge shout out to Bryce Young.
Yeah, man. Like you said, when you get the money, get it. You know what I'm saying?
Get it, right. The pride of Pasadena, California. Get that money.
How wins on him.
Use this image or likeness, I'm here.
Right. Exactly. So, round out tonight, fellas. Let's go into our top 5 QBs going into the 2021 NFL season. So I'm gonna go with who is on your list, your 5th quarterback in this list. I'm gonna go with you first. Cool. Who's your 5th quarterback?
So my 5th quarterback, I have Josh Allen. The reason I'm placing Josh Allen here, and I'll tell you the criteria I use so that when you hear my list, y'all ain't looking at me crazy. The people who's watching not looking at me crazy.
All right.
So I'm thinking about how long you've been in the league, if you're still at or near your prime, if you're ascending towards it, if we're projecting a little bit, or if you're declining away, they might push you off. How you've been improving from year to year. So, you know, a guy like Josh Allen, the reason he slid in 5 is because he's been improving every year, and he had a good year, took his team to the playoffs last year. So, you know, that's why I have him sitting in that position, and I think he's only going to go up. Obviously, he has help because he has Stephon Diggs there, you know, who's a great wide receiver to help him out. But I feel like he's a guy that's ascending and should be like right there in that top 5 at number 5.
All right. Who's your number 5, Maui?
Okay, I got a question.
Yeah.
There's a dude that's had some trouble, and I hadn't heard his name in a while. Is he good?
I put him on my list because I don't think he's gonna play this year, honestly.
Okay.
But I'm just gonna say my top 5 regardless.
I put him at 6. You know what I'm saying? Because once I seen his numbers, I was like, oh, see, that's just wrong. I definitely got to put him there. So y'all know who I'm talking about. So he's just gonna keep it moving. But no, at number 5, I got Lamar Jackson. You know what I mean? I don't know. I have no real reason of putting him there. I just feel like out of the rest of the guys, he is that one, because there's a reason why I'm not going to put this other guy on there, but we'll talk about that once we get done. But definitely, I put Lamar Jackson. I still think that you know, he has to work on his passing a little bit more. I think he needs probably like another weapon. But I put him at, you know, ex-MVP. I put him at number 5.
So my number 5, call me crazy,
what you laughing at? What you laughing at?
Tom Brady. I got Tom Brady.
What? I mean, I'm sorry.
And mine's based on last year's performance. I mean, at the tender age of 43 years old, putting up 40 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, and with a mildly sprained MCL last year, which is pretty impressive. He had pretty much a good year. You know, he had a few little blemishes, you know, but other than that, he had a hell of a year. And he's going to be 44. I never thought in a million years I would put a 44-year-old quarterback as a top 5 quarterback going into the season, but Tom Brady's there, you know. So, number 4, I'm going to go to you first, Cool. Who you got your number 4?
At number 4, I have Deshaun Watson. I have Deshaun Watson at number 4 because I feel like he's better than Josh Allen, but he's not higher because, number 1, he plays for a team where they don't have a lot of talent at wide receiver, thanks to Bill O'Brien, who, if you see my show, you know how I feel about him. But I think that if he does play, and I really think he's actually going to play, I don't think he's going to be in Houston, but I think he's going to play. I think he'll get everything cleared up because there's been some reports that allegedly all these women that came out and did all this stuff, now everybody's fine with just taking a settlement. So basically a cash grab. So if you can get a cash grab to get this over with to be able to play, and Deshaun Watson, why not? So I think he's going to play. Hey, I could be wrong, but I think he's going to play. But I think that the lack of talent there at the wide receiver position is going to not allow him to be the best that he could be if he still had, you know, the man that they let go for pennies on the dollar.
I know. Oh my God.
Crazy. That's why I have in my number 4. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Who's your number 4, Maui?
I put Russell Wilson. You know, he's a top guy, but you know, I was, you know, finally, you know, because you know, really, I don't care for Russell Wilson. You know that. I know you know that, Coach. You know, but it's all good. Yeah. What I did was I gave in, and I was picking him for MVP, and then JB let me have it. He was like, "Man, you know, he always does well in the beginning of the season, and then he just started going downhill towards the end." So. And then, you know, once Tom Brady won, I felt like he started telling the truth and he started speaking, say, hey, man, I need a line. I need this and blah, blah, blah. So I put him in number 4. I still think he's a top guy, but I think he's starting to step out of his shell and say, hey, man, y'all need to protect me. And I believe once they start doing that, he'll probably be number 1.
Yeah. Shout out to Russ, the 2-time.
There it is.
The only 2-time Richmond Times Dispatch Player of the Year. Stop, man. Probably one of the greatest prep athletes in the city of Richmond. Definitely huge shout out to Russell Wilson. My number 4 has got to be Deshaun Watson. Another, once again, a career year. And it's crazy to think 33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. And this team was 4-12. Mm-hmm. Like, this man had a career year And then what killed me with people was he don't deserve to be in the Pro Bowl. And I'm like, what?
He got
Like
almost
look at those
5,000 yards.
Huh?
Get that man some help.
He almost, right. He almost had
right.
He almost 5,000 yards, man. That's crazy.
And they were 4-12, and it's just like you think to yourself, like I said, how Bill O'Brien just screwed this organization, getting rid of D-Hop, like you said, for nothing, like for
pennies on the dollar. Ridiculous.
And it's just like it's ridiculous. I never understood that.
You throw for almost 5,000 yards, 7 interceptions, and you 4-12. Oh, don't get mad at me, coach, but of course you're gonna need a massage, B. It is what it is, you know what I mean?
Well, dang, I like, man. But yeah, I think going to like he's going to, and and once upon a time, and they'll probably get rid, like you said. The thing is, they probably will get rid of him, but I think at the same token, it's just going to be a matter of time. They're probably going to trade him. I think this whole situation is starting to kind of, it's got quiet. And it's kind of has blown away extremely. So, like you said, it could be a situation where it could get mitigated, and he'll be traded. Because I'm hoping this team is in shambles. This team,
if he plays or he gets traded, and then it's about a year and a half, I'm ready for the documentary to come out so we can really hear majority all the information of what really happened. Because it sounds weird to me. You trade these other people, leave main people on the team, and then all of a sudden he asks for to be traded or let go, and then all of a sudden this laundry comes out of nowhere. That's just weird to me.
And then just with the situation too, and then what she is the quarterback too is kind of telling Tyrod Taylor. Them getting Tyrod Taylor, and then they end up getting the kid out of Stanford. Not Stanford. What's the quarterback? The one they got in the draft. I forgot his name, but they drafted a quarterback. I don't know if he went to Stanford, but what have you. But yeah, you look at that, it's like he'll be out. He'll be somewhere. Hopefully he don't land in the East. I have a issue if he lands in the East in Cool's lap.
Man, he's probably gonna be your quarterback, coach. He probably gonna be in your quarter. Oh, y'all got one. You don't want Watson? Oh, you don't want Watson? We got one. We got one.
Yeah.
I love, you know what I'm saying, Jalen Hurts. A really good player.
That's right.
But if you ask me, do I want Jalen Hurts to Deshaun Watson?
Oh, yes, a no-brainer. Yeah, but I know for us, they're gonna want a lot. Like the compensation is gonna be because we talked about I know at once upon a time, Cleveland, but Houston was looking at 2 or 3 draft picks going forward, like a couple of our assets on the defense, and I'm like, I think we'd be all right with Fitzpatrick.
But see, that's why as a good owner or a good general manager, you say, well, hey, this ain't Deshaun Watson from last year.
Right.
We got some baggage here now. Some damage control has got to happen. So 5 picks, 4 picks, 3 picks, and 2 good players. Nah, we're not doing that now. The price has got to come down.
Exactly. Because we know he don't want to be there. So it ain't like a situation where it's like, right. And that's why I kept on saying, they was talking, you would give up a 3 first. I'm like, no.
And he in Texas, so he probably feeling on some pro-black stuff. And I'm just like, man, if you want a black coach, we got the best black coach in the league. So why don't you just come on up to Pittsburgh?
And I feel so bad.
Get involved in that argument.
I feel so bad for him because they are really putting him in hell. I'm like, and I just feel for him. I'm like, I don't even know why on earth they even put him through that.
He took the job.
You're right. You're right. He took the job, but I know. But you know how
every job ain't a good job,
right? Every good, like I said, every good ain't a good job. And then with him, his age, and just that team doesn't. If that team has a 5-year plan, he's 70.
Right.
Like, so I'm just being real. So you look at that situation is like, do you want to have that type of situation going forward? And like you said, like the job is a job. You're right. A job, like you said, a job is a job. But to me, you gonna move your family about 3 years.
Yeah. Am I right?
But at this point, it should be
nobody
life anyway, though, right? I mean, kids got to be grown.
I know, but I'm just
You know what I'm
saying. I
saying?
mean, he might got a wife.
Right.
I mean, you might want to build a house out there. I mean, you got to put it to market.
Nah,
Like,
you don't want to build no house out there. You just rent you something.
I mean, he got real estate agents and stuff, but I mean, it's just the uncertainty there is kind of a like you said. But like you said, you've been waiting in the wings for 27 years. You're right. It could just be a situation where hey, this might be it's the dream job for him. But I just think I'm necessarily like you said. I know he went into this kind of knowing like the whole Deshaun Watson saga before obviously the legal things happened. But just like the circus, like they put him out on the island, talk about he almost worse than your boy. Like I don't know who was worse, Cully or your boy. And I'm just like y'all throwing these two coaches like just throwing them in an abyss, and it's just like why you gonna ask this man about Deshaun Watson? It's like this dude just got here. Like you can't you need to be talking to to his boss or his general manager, whoever.
That's why
Right.
That's why he got the job. That's why he got the job, B.
Right. That's why like I said, that's why I don't like that. I don't like how they putting that boy out there. I don't like how they putting him out there like that. So did we so
he good with that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, Mal, who's your third quarterback on your list?
I got Josh Allen. I feel like out of all the quarterbacks that to me, like Buffalo, I'm terrified of them. They look scary, B. I felt like, out of all the ones that came out, like that came from that is I have a category. It's hard to explain. But I felt like he is the one that's saying, like I feel like I'm almost watching like a big Aaron Rodgers. Like he seemed like he's really, 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 that's right. He going up. You know what I mean? Yep. And like Lamar got the MVP, but then he went down. You know what I mean? And then, but I still feel like, he still has that. I just hope Baltimore giving what he needs so he can move up. Same thing we said about Deshaun Watson. Last year I had a lot of the key quarterbacks in my top 5. Because I felt like these new guys hadn't proved themselves just yet. But last season, I felt like they proved themselves. So I felt like Josh Allen, I put him above Russell Wilson. That's why Russell Wilson was complaining at the end of the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who you got as your third, Cool?
Well, my third, I actually have Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Okay.
The reason I have Lamar Jackson as my third quarterback is I feel like the team's going to get better. I feel like he has that MVP, right? If you look at the people I have below him in Deshaun Watson and Josh Allen, neither one of those guys have an MVP or a deep playoff run yet. I feel like Lamar right now is there. Now,
what up, Mike?
What I like most about him is I like the fact that he is a dual threat quarterback. In the true sense of the word, he actually can throw. He needs to work on it. I'm not saying that there's not work, but he can make throws. He can make a lot of the throws, and he could take off and run. You never know. He's taking off looking like he's running, stopping, dropping passes in. So I love the duality of the way he plays. So that's why I have him as my number 3.
Yeah. So let's see. My number 3 is going to be Josh Allen. Like you said, he's another one that's ascending. What he's doing, 37 touchdowns last year, 10 interceptions, cannon of an arm. Like you said, now he got the weapon and Stephon Diggs, who led the league in reception, not reception, but yards. Or was it Justin Jefferson? I forgot, because he did receptions or yards. I forgot which one, but either or, he has a weapon. So that's going to be definitely a daunting task, like you said, and No, it's gonna be definitely interesting. We'll definitely be packing our lunch in Orchard Park on September 26th. Definitely not looking forward to it at all. But yeah. So number 2, who you got? Cool. Who's your number 2 quarterback?
So again, y'all can look at me like I'm crazy before I say it. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it. My number 2 is Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, okay.
Reason why I have Patrick Mahomes at number 2 and not number 1, he's been really amazing so far. But I just want to see, he's had a little adversity last year. We got to the Super Bowl, lineman situation, things didn't quite go his way. So it's going to be a little different. He was injured. He has got to clean up some things with that. So I just want to see him continue to grow. I feel like he's the guy that's gonna be number one soon, but I don't have him quite there yet. But I mean, what can you really say negative about his game except for he's still only a couple of years in as far as him playing. So you still have an opportunity for people to get a little bit more film and try to figure out, the little things that he does, little idiosyncrasies, the little things he does before he does a certain thing. Like if he turns to the left and rubs his leg before he throws a certain route, or if he drops back a certain way, things like that. So I think some of those things may happen and he'll have to adjust to those. But I mean, this guy's clearly a ridiculously great player in the making.
Big time. Patrick Mahomes. We got Maui.
Patrick Mahomes, same thing. I felt like, he lost. You know what I'm saying? Hey, he lost. I'm just being real with you. He lost and he got paid. And, when you get paid, that's the next thing. That's okay. You got your money. What you going to do? And he had some, like you said, he had some obstacles. He had some things and he lost. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so this year, this year coming up, we'll see what he going to do. And if he do, I think he might stay at number 2 or I really would think if we do this list next year, I'll probably be putting him at number 1. I wouldn't be shocked, but he lost. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we know who that dude is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So my number 2, it's got to go to my fellow class 2002 guy, Aaron Rodgers. I got Aaron Rodgers, last year's MVP, and we talked about it in pre-show. Cool, where it's a little rocky in Wisconsin. Actually, the minority owner of the championship Milwaukee Bucks got a ring. Shout out to Aaron Rodgers, got another ring. So take that, Brett Favre.
Just for being rich.
Right.
But that's why I didn't put him on there, because I don't know if he's gonna still be with the team.
That's why I didn't put him on my list either.
I put him on. I think, like you said, it's like you said. I thought about that too, because I don't think Deshaun Watson gonna play this year, but I could be wrong. And, so I'm just saying, going into, if anything, I'm just gonna make it as if like it's nothing's gonna happen this year, and this is gonna kind of take all the kind of the what if scenarios in it. So mine's gonna be Aaron Rodgers. So
if I'd have put him down, I'd have put Rodgers at 3, and then it would have pushed like my 4 or 5 down. For everything downward. So
my number 2 is Aaron Rodgers. So Mal, who's your number 1 quarterback heading into 2021?
He already was the top dog for a long time. So then I watched him on The Shop, right? And I'm listening to him talk. And then it's like he was a complete different person, where he really thinks before he speaks. And he was saying how his wife, he envies her because she can think so fast and say so quick. So definitely, I'm giving it to Tom Brady. It is what it is. I was in a barbershop a couple years ago, right? And this dude asked a question. He was like, is it Tom Brady or is it Bill Belichick? You know what I'm saying? And the argument was the system, or was it Tom Brady? Well, it looked like to me it's Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Sorry, I really don't. Hey, Bill Belichick didn't win nothing with us before Tom Brady got there. Trust me, he was a Cleveland Browns coach, and we all know how the Browns was back then, right?
Yeah.
We all remember that, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
But I got Tom Brady.
Yeah. Who you got, Cool? Who's your number 1?
I want to say this first. I definitely, no disrespect to Tom Brady, but if I were quarterbacking with that trio of wide receivers and that tight end, I think I could at least make the playoffs last year. Because that was with that defense too. I could have won a Super Bowl because I'm not that good, but I think I could have made the playoffs.
That's great, but at the same time, a lot of them came there because of him. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And the reason why everybody dislikes him and had this narrative. But when I saw him on The Shop, I was like, yo, like he looked insecure about some of the stuff that he would say. And I was like, damn, but when he on the field, he's completely different. You know what I'm saying?
Now I'll give you my number 1. So my number 1, I have Russell Wilson.
Whoa, what? Yo, that's what's up, man.
I'll tell you why. Again, I did say when I started what my criteria was, right?
Right.
I wanted to put that out there because when I didn't have Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, I know people's gonna be like, "What is wrong with this fool?" But those are great quarterbacks, and they're still really good quarterbacks. But I think we're starting to see some of these younger guys and a guy like Wilson, who's still, I think, near the end, but still kind of in his prime.
Yeah.
And I think if you're looking at the guys that I've put at 2, 3, 4, and 5, those are all younger players. They're still on the rise. I think we're seeing Russell like at that level, but still he hasn't started to drop yet. He may no longer be ascending, but he hasn't started descending yet. And you think about the fact of what you were saying earlier about him, he hasn't really ever had a line. He just got the best receiver he's ever had, DK Metcalf. He's got a pretty good, solid receiving core now. I mean, he's back there running for his life, calling backyard plays. Run over there, and throwing the ball and just running around. He's had to do so much for that team to be successful that I couldn't make a list of top 5 quarterbacks and not give him, that top spot based on that stuff. And like I said, there's other guys that I didn't put on the list that could be there, but I thought about what I wanted my criteria to be to get my top 5, and this is what I came up with.
Right.
Yeah, you're right, Cool, as far as the weapons, as far as what Tom Brady has associated. Yeah, you would have made the playoffs, but that vaunted Washington football front four would have took you down the end.
I would have just handed the ball off. I would have handed the ball off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, number 1.
You bet not.
Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, thank God. Ooh. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Who you thought I was going to have?
All right. No, I'll tell you in a minute. Keep going, Coach.
Tyler Henneke? Tyler Henneke? But no. But Patrick Mahomes. And then people, like you said, to the point where him losing in that Super Bowl. But the crazy thing about that, even in the weirdest thing about it, he was running for his life, but he had some pretty great throws in that Super Bowl. Like, I mean, he was like, and that's what when we say Eric Fisher was like when he went down against Buffalo in that AFC Championship game, I was like, oh, that's not good. Like, and you think about it, if he would have had like now with them having like Orlando Brown, which I don't know why in the hell did the Ravens pretty much handed them the Super Bowl trophy, because now you got Orlando Brown coming in and those precious seconds that that you look at where he threw it to what was it? What's the face? Cheetah. What's his face? Tariq Hill. Remember he one of the pass hit his helmet and what have you. He missed some errant. And you think about it, if he would have had maybe a 15/10 of a second of protection, like those things would have connected potentially. So you just look at what he did in that Super Bowl, even though in a loss, he still did all right. I mean, even though they didn't connect, but just imagine if he would have had protection. That's the thing. And then he gonna get the other guy back, the doctor. What's his name? I forgot it. But he'll get that. The line gonna be straight, so they're gonna be good again. So he'll be back again, getting that straight. Because now I mean, you get a considerable upgrade in Orlando Brown, and I'm just like, I still think to myself as a Raven, I'm like, I would be so pissed off. Like, you get rid of him.
I'm Lamar Jackson, I'd be so pissed off.
Right, even more so, right. He would be doubly, if that's a word, doubly. But definitely a great list of top 5 QBs, fellas. So let's put a bow on this week's Couch Coach Live, man. So we'll do your final thoughts and then plug your social media and plug like projects and what you got. So I'm gonna go with you first, Cool. Final thoughts.
Yeah, man. Go Bucks. Glad they got the win. Can't wait for training camps to start. NFL season around the corner. All about those Eagles. College football. It's gonna be a great year. De'Aaron King is gonna be a beast. Mark my words. And I'm just excited, man. We back to some semblance of regular sports. We back to being able to go to games. We back to being able to communicate with people, hang out and do things, travel, do different things, man. So just excited that we're at least getting a piece of, what we call normal back.
Yeah. And it's cool. Where they can find you on social media and anything coming up with your podcast and what have you.
Oh, I didn't know if we were doing that separate. My bad.
No, you good. Yeah, you good. Yeah.
On NBA Carousel on Monday nights. Definitely be on this Monday to gloat.
Yeah.
Catch me on when it comes back on the Sip Off on Thursday nights. You can catch me Friday nights. It's going to be 7 p.m. Now we switch to time, Eastern Standard Time. PlayCallerSportsTalk.com. And of course, catch me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all Cool McCain.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Maui, you found thoughts in social media.
Man, great show. Appreciate you, Cool, coming through, man. You know what I'm saying? We made it even more exciting. I see a little overtime, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I appreciate you being here. Thanks, Coach, for always making me come through. But wait, how many NFL teams is it? 33, 30, what 27? How many teams is it?
32.
32. So I definitely had Baker Mayfield at 32. And my social media is DT Morgan 78 and Deshaun Morgan Facebook, Maui.
Yeah. But once again, great show. Great show. Shout out to the Bucks win their first championship in 50 years. Man, it's great stuff lined up. Like I said, I'm getting ready for football. We are how many days away? We're 6 days away from the 2020 NFC East champion rolling to my backyard here in Richmond, Virginia for training camp. That, and like you said, college football is here. You talk about Derek King. I raised your Derek King for the 2021 Heisman Trophy winner Sam Howell that hails out of the University of North Carolina. So, we're on enemy lines on both sides. I'm telling you, man, that the coastal, not the coastal, but Atlantic's up for grabs, man. It's going either between UNC and Miami. So one of us gonna have a date with Clemson the first Saturday in December, and in your backyard, Cool.
Whichever one of us it is, that's going to be a very tough game.
Yeah. That's going to be definitely. Yeah, I think it's going to be a two team race in the ACC as far as on because because I keep on forgetting we're Atlantic or coastal, but we're coastal. Yeah, coastal. I don't know why I keep on. Yeah. So it'd be coastal foes and also NFC East foes as well. So, good. All good. Yeah, it's all good. Follow the podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram under Couch Coach Live. Also Friday night we got Washington Football Guys podcast. Shout out to my guy Rob. We'll get that going, and then also we'll start off our college football previews on Saturday. We'll be doing the Pac-12 with our guy Zach McKinnell of the Blue Bloods podcast. Definitely huge shout out to my guys Zach and Brandon of the Blue Bloods podcast. They'll be previewing the Power 5 conferences. We'll start with the Pac-12 this Saturday at 2:00 Eastern Standard Time. And man, this has been another great Couch Coach Live, man. We'll catch you guys next week.
Well.